Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Mozo XT bringing you a series of online poker tutorials. I'm just going to be helping out the new guys out there that are looking to get started in online poker and kind of bringing them tips. I'm going to be reviewing some hands each video and telling you my thought process on them, and hopefully you guys can learn something. So, for all you guys starting out, I would definitely recommend getting this program here. It's called Holdem Manager. Has a bunch of features. You can also get another program similar to it. It's called Poker Tracker. And yeah, basically the main thing that's so great about it is you can get your HUD, HUD, it's called Heads Up Display, and it will tell you your opponent's VPIP, PFR, and that's just a bunch of stats you can keep on them and see what their player types are, see what their tendencies are. It really helps you out. I'll be mentioning them in some of the hands that I review. So without further ado, here we go into the first hand right here. And it's at 2 cent, 5 cent, no limit hold'em. We got ace jack in the hijack position. So folds around to me. I like raising about 4x here. If I'm in the later position like the cutoff button or even small blind and it's folded around to me, I like to raise about 3x, but every other position I like to raise 4x just because you want to isolate and because that increases your equity in each hand. So yeah, we got ace jack. I would like to raise about 20 cents here. So we do 20 cents. Folds, one call in the small blind, and we'll see the pot heads up. So 8 queen 9 comes on the flop. We don't flop anything. This is obviously a pretty good board to c-bet because you can represent this queen with hands like ace queen, king queen. Our opponent here, sexy lady, her stats for VPIP is 13 and her call open is 4%. So basically what that means is she's putting money in 13% of hands and she's only open calling 4% of hands. And that represents a pretty small range, so she's likely to be set mining here. Set mining meaning she has a pocket pair and she's calling my preflop raise, hoping to flop a set and hoping to get a bunch of money in the pot and win a lot of money from me. Or another possibility is she has a strong queen here, or a hand like ace jack or ace king. So she used her set mining and missed or hit. She hit her pair with ace queen, or she has like ace king or ace jack. I don't really think she has many other hands, mainly because this heads up display tells us what her VPIP is, and that I think that is a good representation of most of her range here. So I think if she checks, I think a c-bet here would be very good. It'd get all those pocket pairs to fold. Get those other aces to fold, and she's only going to really be continuing with sets or kind of a pair of queens, or maybe if she had like pocket tens or something, she might stick around. So I like a bet of about 30 cents here. I think that gets the job done a lot of the time. So I do bet 30 cents, and she calls me. Okay, so turn comes in 8. So when she called me on the flop, I think she probably has a queen or something like that. Or maybe she just kind of has a pocket pair and is kind of messing around. This number here, 6.0, represents her aggression factor. That's a really high aggression. So when she just check calls me, I don't know. I think maybe she's just kind of peeling one off with something like tens or maybe some kind of queen. But I don't really think, if she checks again, I don't think she's going to go away. I think she wants to see a showdown here. So we'll see what she does. She checks. I like to check here a lot, mainly because I don't want to create such a big pot with a hand like ace high. A check back here is pretty good, and we can see what happens on the river in position. So the king of clubs comes. This is a very scary card for this player here, mainly because if she does have a pair of queens or something like tens or jacks even, the king represents an overcard, and it also completes the club flush. So she should be not very comfortable with that card. If she checks, I like to bet at this just because it puts a lot of pressure on her, and it puts her in a situation where she's likely to make a mistake playing against me. So if she bets, obviously I'm just going to let this go. So she does check, and I'd recommend a little bigger bet, like around 80, 90 cents here, because I think a bet of like 50, 60 cents won't get the job done if she does have a pair of queens or if she does have jacks. And I don't think it'll get the job done because I checked back on the turn, and that made me look really weak. I think by betting 80, 90 cents here, I can really represent a hand like ace-king, and kind of just, she might think I just played a really standard c-bet, checked with ace-high, then got lucky on the river and hit my king. So I think by betting 90 cents here, it really represents I have a king. It really puts her in a tough spot. And I do bet 90 cents. And yeah, I just think that's a really good play in this situation. It puts a lot of pressure on her. It puts her in a situation where she's likely to make a mistake. And she folds. So it's a nice little pot over to me. All right. Okay, hand number 2. We got ace-king, relatively early position. I like to raise 4x here. Folds to me. Again, raise of 4x is good, so 40 cents, perfect. One caller on the button, everyone else folds, so we'll see this heads up. Flop a pair of aces. Yeah, it's a great hand. This player has pretty solid stats. Kind of a little loose on his VPIP and calling open. 17% is pretty big for calling open. I like a bet here because it gets a lot of value from the weaker aces that he has in his range. He's going to have ace-10, ace-jack, even ace-9 a lot here. So a bet here, pretty big bet, like around 70, 80 cents. We'll get a lot of value from them. So we do bet 70. And our opponent raises. So when he raises here, I don't think he's going to be raising with a weaker ace than we have. We're most likely behind here. It's likely he flopped a set of 4s or set of 8s, or maybe even has like a hand like ace-4 or ace-8 that he just was kind of messing around with. I would not recommend calling with those hands, ace-8, ace-4, just because of this simple situation where you can be dominated by a hand like ace-king a lot. So when he raises here, we're most likely behind here. I would strongly recommend a fold. But I do shove. I do not like this play at all. I'm using this as an example of what not to do in this type of situation. Again, I would really recommend a fold. Shoving all in here, it's like you're basically hoping that he's just going to be messing around with ace-queen or something, and or is just tilting or something like that. But obviously I was kind of tilting a bit, and I'm most likely going to get called by a set here. A set of 8s, set of 4s, or, you know. And our opponent does call. And it's just a terrible play. I'm pretty much always going to be behind here. And he does show ace-4. Again, it is suited, so I guess he was kind of hoping for a flush, and he just saw those 2 hearts and just couldn't really get away from it pre-flop. But if I was him, I definitely would not be calling pre-flop, because you're just going to be dominated so many times by an early position raiser, because it's so likely they have a big ace like ace-king, ace-queen, just like I did in this example. Yes, you can get lucky sometimes and flop 2 pair while your opponent flops top pair, top kicker, but it's just going to be tough to play, even in position. And again, that was a terrible play on my part by shoving all into that flop raise. I strongly recommend a fold there in that type of situation. You just got to ask yourself, what can my opponent be having here that I can beat? And it was pretty much nothing in that situation. So, yeah, I was obviously not really thinking clearly there. So please don't do that. Alright, and this is our final hand that I'll be reviewing for this video. We got 3s here. Fold around to me. Again, I don't really like to open limp, so I strongly recommend that we always raise when we're the first into the pot, just because it gives you that aggressive nature, and it just makes it's so much easier to pick up pots post flop. So yeah, with a pair of threes, I said before that I like to raise 3x from the late positions if it's unopened to me. But with a hand like threes, I like to raise a little more in pre-flop in every situation, just because it's a hand that it's really hit or miss on the flop. You're either going to flop your set or just miss and just have a low pair of threes. So I like to raise a little more, because if I do flop a set, it's really easier to it's much easier to get the money in post flop just as soon as possible. You want as big as pot as possible. So that's why I like to raise a little more. From late position, I'll raise 4x. From early position, I might raise 5x or something like that. So I do raise 4x, 20 cents, get a call from the button. This guy is Tom. His stats indicate that he's a calling station, 40% VPIP, 6% PFR. That means he's calling way too many hands and not raising enough. Very passive player. He's going to call a lot of my bets. You do not really want to bluff this type of player. It's not very a profitable play to bluff this type of player. And we do flop my set, so that is great. This is the type of situation where you don't want to slow play, especially against this player. I would, excuse me, I would not really recommend slow playing any hands, really, because just by betting high, you're just gonna get a lot more money into the pot a higher percentage of the time. So I would recommend just betting high, betting big on all streets for the rest of this hand, and not really worrying about what cards come, especially against this type of player. And he does raise my turn. You might be up against a bigger set here, but again, against such a passive calling station player, it's likely he's just making some kind of stupid play here, messing around, thinking, oh, the only way I can win this hand is by shoving all in. I'm already kind of in a bad situation here. Might as well just shove and hope he folds. And so just call this. You've got a great hand. And let's see what he has. He had 10-7, so yeah, he was just kind of messing around on the turn. Terrible play on his part. You shouldn't even be calling with this pre-flop. But yeah, in these type of situations, you just want to get the money in as soon as possible. Don't really try anything, and don't really slow play, like, try that fancy stuff. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully there will be more to come soon. So yeah, bye guys.